Allow me to extend a warm welcome to all the viewers on the internet and around the world. It is sunrise on YouTube, morning on Facebook, noon on Twitter, midday on Threads, afternoon on Twitch, sunset on Instagram, and evening on Rumble. I am your host, the Ancient One, the Bachelor Supreme, the Phantom Menace, he who remains, and the master of the deceptive arts. We are broadcasting live directly from the sanctum of solitude and the citadel at the end of time. Good evening, everyone. It's the Ancient One here, the Bachelor Supreme, he who remains, the Phantom Menace, and the master of the deceptive arts. And today I wanted to discuss really the issue of anger and perturbation, particularly the anger that I felt after I got my vasectomy. Now I know I'm the biggest advocate of a vasectomy, but I did feel a certain type of anger after I had gotten it. And this anger was there for a very long time before I got my vasectomy. And maybe it was the anger boiling over that made me decide to go get this vasectomy at the time that I did it. But this anger sort of built up over time, right? A very long time. And it wasn't always there. I do remember a time in my life where I didn't have that particular anger. And I had it, and then there was a time before I had it, and then I don't have it anymore. But I do remember what that anger felt like. And it really started in particular in the romance wars. The first time that I realized that I was being deceived, right, in one way or another in the romance war. And then what happened was I noticed it and then I let it go, right? I knew that I was being deceived, but I also knew that addressing it would be a futile and fruitless endeavor because the counterpart would just probably lie some more, right? So I would be gaslit, and reverse psychology would be used on me to make me feel like I'm the one that's overreacting, or I'm insecure, or somehow my instincts are wrong for noticing what I'm noticing, right? And if that didn't work, they would move on to, quite frankly, a meaningless and dismissive apology, right? And if I didn't accept that type of disrespect, because, I could be quite sensitive to people's moods and tonality, right? And if you don't accept that, then what would happen is I would then be the problem for making a problem out of the problem that she had made, right? So ultimately, I just decided to just let it go, right? And I let it go against my own instinct, which is really what upset and angered me even more, right? So I knew it, and my instinct was telling me, my back was tensing up, my muscles were tingling, my brain was on fire, and I was looking with intensity and focus, because my defense mechanism was up, right? And despite all of those instincts, I let it go, right? And my own instincts in that moment had betrayed me, as I'm sure your instincts have betrayed you before. And and then I was even more angry that my instincts were telling me that I was being deceived. And they were sharpening in a defense posture, and defense mechanisms were being activated. But also, they were telling me that I couldn't use my natural defense mechanism. In fact, that there was nothing I could do and that I had to let it go, right? And even worse, I couldn't leave, right? So I had to stay there and endure, right? This frustrated me, and then it angered me even more. The frustration of knowing and understanding and being helpless in that situation, it angered me even more. So this is just anger, just on top of anger, on top of anger, frustration building up, because the distrust had set in. And once it set in that instant, in that moment where my instincts are up, it never left. Right? It set in, and it never really left me, even though I let it go. Right? And over the years, I would notice similar things, weeks, months, years. Now, some things were just instinctive on her part, or reflexive on her part, or maybe they were just natural things that happened. But over the years, the more things that I overlooked, the more I got frustrated with the instinct of feeling like I'm being deceived, right? And that anger sort of simmered and bubbled under for years, and then it finally boiled over after getting my vasectomy. Like after getting my vasectomy, over the days and perhaps weeks after that, I was just at the peak of my anger, and I tried to contain that anger, right? But I couldn't. I was just moody and just disapproving of everything, especially everything that I had represented before I became a vasectomite, right? I mean, I had allowed myself to become a hopeful being rather than a logical being, rather than an instinctive being who trusts in instinct and responds, right? And responds. I had just not only allowed myself to become a hopeful being, I had induced other people to become hopeful being, right? Or beings. Hope in the sense of thinking that patience and kindness and generosity would somehow generate some type of reciprocity in and ultimately some type of honesty, trustworthiness, loyalty, and respect, right? And these are the kinds of things that today's article talks about. Actually, when you look on your screen, you'll see the topic is what women don't bring to the table. The actual article is the opposite of this. It is 10 surprising things that women bring to relationships or to the table, or something to that effect. When we get to the article, we'll read the title in its full effect. But we'll be looking at that article from the lens of a vasectomite, and in terms of what exactly is it that the counterpart promises, right? What they say they bring to the table, and actually the fact that they don't bring any of these things to the table is what I'm going to try and demonstrate there. Just a little bit of hypocrisy to start the week. But back to this anger. which really is, I was hoping that the things that we're going to see in this article would emerge through me demonstrating those things, right? But I never got over the anger that tolerance and capitulation had made me endure, right? I had compromised so much, and so much of myself and my instincts and my direction, right? And I'm just not, I won't even talk about the resources, right? Just these social interactions in themselves angered me, right? And I think of all of the little petty grievances, the little nuisances, the little annoyances, the hogwash, the disrespect, right? That I had taught myself to be patient about and tolerate for so long, right? For at least one day longer than I should have, right? I mean, it went on and on and on, but even then, I tolerated it for one day more, and that was just one day too much, right? And just knowing that I had become such a compromising, tolerant, patient, inclusive, generous person for the longest time really upset me. It really sent me over the edge. And having had that vasectomy and knowing that I did not need to have this level of tolerance ever again, you know, it didn't just liberate me, it upset me to know that I had had it to begin with, right? And I know many of you feel this type of anger. The anger of compromise, the anger of tolerance, the anger of patience and kindness, that anger that lingers in forgiveness, right? Many of you are feeling that anger too. And you don't really know what to do. And I'm going to tell you what to do right now. Go freeze your sperm. It'll only cost you $50, maybe $50 a year, maybe less, and get a vasectomy. You got medical insurance? Use your medical insurance. Let them pay for it, right? Let them pay for it. We'll discuss the old Jamaican 2 week, right? The old Jamaican 2 week special, and how you can use those 2 weeks to get yourself a vasectomy. And I'll teach you how to make that move. It's a bit expensive, but it's worth every cent, right? But you gotta go get yourself a vasectomy, because once you get your vasectomy, I guarantee you peace of mind. I guarantee you peace of mind. I guarantee that you will no longer have to tolerate anyone or anything that doesn't benefit you. You will no longer need to be patient or accommodating or inclusive or generous in any way, right? You will be free. You will be free from these shackles, right? Unlike there was a gentleman that I heard of in a video today, another video about more infidelity from the counterpart. It's just what they do all the time, right? It's just what they do. And they just betray, man. They betray even themselves, right? They betray their family, they betray their kids, they betray their husbands, and ultimately they just betray themselves. And this is another story of betrayal where this gentleman, now I'm not sure what his indiscretions are, so I can't say what he did wrong in the past and what he deserves, right? But I can tell you what he described in one evening that it happened. And this is the kind of maliciousness that indicates to me that there's some kind of revenge thing going on. Like the counterpart would do this in these circumstances, for vengeance, man, for vengeance, to hurt, right? They do these things to hurt. These are not accidents, right? So this gentleman today, he confessed that his wife had been having an affair with another man, as usual. And of course, he caught them. But this time he caught them in an intimate and passionate embrace in his own home, the home that he pays for, by the way, the home where his children sleep, right? Where their guests come, where their extended family comes, right? Where they have prayer meetings and such things, right? So so what had happened was that he had planned a surprise for his wife, where the kids would be away and they would be together on an anniversary. So while he was away preparing things, she thought that she would be alone for the evening, right? This was of course their anniversary. So he comes in, right? And so I mean, so he comes back home to see a car outside. Then he comes in and makes his way through the house, and then there they are, the two of them, in an intimate moment. But he doesn't actually look at it, right? So he's a little bit sneaky, right? So he has some deception in him. I'll give him that. He has some decent deception in him. He does need some training to improve his deceptive skills, but he did well under the circumstances. So he took out his phone and he sort of leaned it in so that they couldn't see him. And he recorded them being intimate. I think he may have zoomed in somewhat. I mean, it's simple enough, right? So he really caught the whole encounter, I believe. Good on his part, but I don't know how good that would do. But he was hoping this would be some type of evidence, right? So he left feeling defeated and betrayed and gutted, and he watched the video over and over, just punishing himself. Terrible set of circumstances, but at the same time, you didn't have to watch it over and over. And to me, I sense an element of revenge. Like I, you know, I think there was a part of her that was hoping to get caught one day and kind of rub it in your face a little bit. And then once it was out in the open, then she'd continue doing it out in the open. I mean, why hide it now, right? But the fact that also you're not leaving and you're stuck there, and this is happening in your home on your anniversary. Oh Lord have mercy. The counterpart has no bottom, I'm telling you, So now he's got this video, right? And what upset me about this situation is that what angered me, right? We're talking about anger here, is how the commentator, the influencer, said he could offer this gentleman absolutely no solutions, right? He had no solutions for this gentleman under this situation. And I thought, then why would you bring it up? Why would you bring up this issue if you're just going to mention the tragedy, mention the problem, embarrass this poor guy, just to leave him vulnerable and powerless and weak and in shame, but not offer any type of solution to steer him back to power, you know? And I realized that the commentator really doesn't have any solutions, at least no solutions that he can stand on and say, this is where I am, and this is what I would do. This would be the solution. I'll tell this gentleman right now, what you need to do, my friend, is you need to go get yourself that vasectomy. You need to go get yourself that vasectomy because there are even commentators and philosophers, modern day ones, some very talented ones, that will say the same thing, that will mention a problem and go through it and then give you a vagary as a solution, right? And they won't tell you something real, right? And it's very disappointing. It's very disappointing, which is why ultimately, as the Bachelor Supreme, I have to stand alone, right? And I have to make videos giving men the permission to be deceptive and to lie. Because everyone else is going to start telling you to be honest to this person. Look what she did to this man. You know, the only thing that will equalize this situation is a tremendous bit of deception. And fortunately for you, I have exactly just that. I'm not like these other content creators or these other philosophers, right? I shouldn't say content creators. It's just going to make enemies, these philosophers. So you're a content creator, this has nothing to do with you. But if you're a philosopher, I'm talking directly to you. You see, I'm not like these modern philosophers, dear brothers. I, my friend, will put the knife in your hand and show you exactly where to stick it, and then we will twist it together for maximum pain. Here's what you need to do, my friend, before we look at this article. You need to get yourself a vasectomy. And if you are already, in a marriage situation, you need to do this vasectomy in private and quietly. You need to keep this quiet and off the books. And I'm going to tell you exactly how. What you need to do is you need to go get yourself that credit card. You need to book your wife a plane ticket and a hotel at a beach resort in Jamaica for 2 glorious weeks. Or if you got enough money, you might want to book her an extra ticket so she can go with her boyfriend. You want to do that, but you won't say take your man. You'll say, take your girlfriend, Shaniqua, take your girlfriend, Elizabeth, take your girlfriend, Dorothy, whatever, right? Your girlfriend's name is, and go with her to Jamaica. You know, the one that's always been by your side, your true best friend, the one that was with you in them streets, that one. Take her, the one with bad habits, the alcoholic, the one who can't keep a relationship, that one. Take her with you to Jamaica for 2 weeks. All right. And what you do is you drive them both to the airport and you watch them walk through those custom gates and off they go to Jamaica for 2 weeks. And then you get into your car and you drive straight to your urologist and you get yourself that vasectomy. You'll be in and out in less than 3 hours. By the time her flight lands, your vasectomy will be done. When she calls you, you'll pick up the phone like nothing happened. And if she asks you, what's going on, honey? How's everything at home? You tell her, babe, the worst thing happened to me. I had a tragic accident and I hurt my groin. I'm thinking of going into the doctor, but I know I'm going to have to ice it up for at least a week. There's your recovery story. Sorted. So if she comes back and you still need time to recover, or if there's like a discharge through your urine that could be suspicious, right? Because you had an operation, you might pee out some extras, blood and such things, right? If she sees anything like that, then you've got a legitimate excuse for it, right? If everything is not done and ready in 2 weeks, but in truth, you should be ready in a few days. 3, 4, 5 days, you should be able to move, but full recovery, I'd say give yourself about 10 days. By the time she returns, you'll be clean as a whistle. You'll be clean as a whistle. Now, if she went to Jamaica with that boyfriend of hers that you know she would have done, if she had done that to you, then hopefully he didn't use no protection, and she's probably been inseminated. Hopefully, she was careless with those birth control. Hopefully, they drank a lot. She was careless with the birth control. They had too much intimacy, and hopefully, insemination happened. Now, I'm not saying that you can plan these things. All I'm saying is, what does the old saying go? You cannot create luck, but you can create the circumstances for luck to work its magic, right? So you can create the circumstances that allow you to be fruitful and perhaps even get a meaningful revenge. But you do the 2 week Jamaica, right? The 2 weeks to Jamaica, you buy yourself some time. You buy yourself some I don't know what do they call those points, those brownie points, and then you buy yourself some recovery time. Now it'll be expensive. If it's not Jamaica, take her somewhere else. Take her somewhere cheaper. But buy yourself 2 weeks. You'll pay that money off later. It'll be the best money you ever spent. Now, if you don't have that extra money for the vasectomy, like I had the extra money for the vasectomy, so I paid cash so I could keep it off the books. It's not on my medical insurance at all, and I have full medical insurance. The only thing you'll see on there is dentistry, right? And maybe glasses, right? In truth, I have like 10 different types of glasses for 10 different types of effects. Anyway, it's neither here nor there. You'll get there when you become the master of the deceptive arts yourself. But this money, right? So if you can't pay cash and keep it off the books, then you got to get your medical insurance to pay for it, and then try keep it off the books, right? Try to make sure that for the next month or two, she's not getting any receipts or anything like that. She's not keeping up to date with that. And you get yourself a vasectomy. And you let the two of them go at it. Let her have him, and let him have her as much and as frequently as possible. And as soon as she comes in with those two terrible words, I'm pregnant, then you can hit her with the four most powerful words in human history. I got a vasectomy. And then her and her man, they're going to have 18 glorious years to discuss this betrayal. They're going to have to work this out over 18 to 21 years. And don't let that child be smart. Don't let that child be smart that they're going to have, because that child's going to college. Oh, and you're going to pay. You're going to pay, right? That's the drama, man. This is more than drama. It's theater. It's more than theater. It's opera, man. You know what I mean? This is a crescendo of a magnificent story of opera, right? Two people who have an affair think it's your baby, but oh no. Oh, you're a vasectomite. It's all on them. And then begins the true suffering. The true story of betrayal is consequence. And you can only embark consequence if you're a vasectomite. Right? So get a vasectomy, my brother. Get a vasectomy. And let's look at this article. And let's look at some hypocrisy, right? And you'll see exactly what women don't bring to the table. Look at the story that I've just told you. Look at the emotions that I've just described. And then think of the solution for yourself and for your own life. If you are going to indeed be a student of the deceptive arts, you need to understand that hypocrisy, although it contradicts itself, is very much rooted in irony and innuendo. And as we read this article that you see on your screen entitled 10 Amazing Things a Woman Brings to Any Relationship. Listen to those words by Tamsin Valentine. This article was actually written in 2016, right at the peak of what some might call the manosphere movement, when it started to pick up steam. And the popular question of the day was, what do you bring to the table? A question, in fact, that remains till this day unanswered. These are really not tangible things. So we're not talking about things like money and gifts, or even intimacy, right? So these are kind of like intangibles. And upon reading it twice, I can see a little bit of humor in it. So let's read Tamsin's words, saying 10 amazing things a woman brings to any relationship. You have a special lady in your life, she asserts. She is the best, and you feel so lucky to have her. My God. Listen to that. No questions asked. She just lays it on thick, doesn't she? My cousin Tamsin, you're a true romantic. Or maybe you are in the search for that special woman, the one you want to be the mother of your children, your soulmate, playmate, etc. Absolutely not. Oh, this article was written for you knee benders. This is absolutely for the knee benders. Mother of your children. Oh, get a vasectomy, guys. Oh, that's the part that killed me right there. Then she says, that special woman, your soulmate, playmate. Ah, let's continue. Thank you, Tamsin. Thank you. We're going to have a good time with this one. Whatever your situation may be, it is just obvious that women. She says it's just obvious. Sorry, I don't mean to laugh in these videos. I am going to be professional. Let's continue. It's it is just obvious that women bring so many good things to any relationship. In fact, they can bring amazing, in all caps, and fabulous things to any relationship. In all caps, that's fabulous. She's really not holding back. Here are 10 qualities to make you appreciate the woman in your life. Now, you see, this is the type of propaganda that's going to make you walk down that aisle, that's going to make you bend that knee. This is designed to make you bend the knee. My goodness. Amazing and fabulous. She's really into this. But she's selling it. She's selling it. And the first thing that you will not get from a woman, and I absolutely guarantee this, is loyalty. She's not going to be loyal to you. If you're wondering who's talking the most behind your back, or it's your woman. She knows the most about you and therefore can discuss the most. Tamsin says, women are loyal, whether it's loyalty to her friends, her family, her favorite brand. When she loves something, she will stick by it. Absolutely not true. Absolutely not true. These people stab their friends behind the back. They don't even respect their own fathers. And as for brands, they only care what's the most expensive brand. That is the brand they love. And they stick to that, right? The most expensive, give me that one. That also means when she loves you, she will stick by you. Make sure to appreciate that loyal woman. Didn't I just discuss a guy who got betrayed literally on his anniversary in his own home? So, no, no. Loyalty, absolutely not. Commitment is number two, according to Tamsin. She says, loyalty and commitment can be lumped together. Indeed, they can. But I think there are some significant differences, and that in most women you will find both qualities. You will not find both qualities in a woman. She doesn't even keep the promises she makes to herself. She's been saying she's going to lose weight. She was supposed to finish her degree. She's supposed to pay off her debt. She's going to be a good mom. She's going to be a good Christian. She's not going to have no affairs no more. Give me a break. Give me a break. Both qualities you're not going to find either. Let's continue. Commitment means she will stand by you through the good times and the bad and will support you through whatever life throws at you. No way. No way. She absolutely has an exit plan. And it's not a perfect exit plan, but it's going to be better than the situation you're in when you're homeless. So I'm telling you, this is an absolute lie. I mean, I thought we were going to hear some hypocrisy. Oh, this is the full thing. This is the full hit. Number 3, intelligence. Oh, don't get me started. Don't get me started. We already discussed that only 16% of women can pay all their bills, and even then they can only do it 16% of the time. This is an important attribute in both men and women because no one wants to feel like they are talking to a wall. Oh, Lord have mercy. Have you ever talked to somebody and just see that they don't understand logic? They just want you to be emotional. You ever been there? Oh, she's laying it on thick. Tamsin, you are outdoing yourself. Most women have this wonderful attribute, intelligence, she says, intelligence. And you love having long, in-depth conversations with your lady about politics. Nope. Religion, absolutely not. World cultures, maybe, but probably not, or anything else that catches your fancy. That means her mind is going to start running wild with all kinds of nonsense, and you have to listen to the jibber jabber as it's coming out, as she's vomiting all this nonsense out, right? And you think there's an end to it. There's a point where she's going to say, I've hit my limit of nonsense. Oh, she's not. She's going to then move on to what they describe here as anything else that catches her fancy. Number 4, sass. I need to really look up what this word means. Sass. It says here, let's be real. Who doesn't love a woman with a little sass? I don't know what sass is. If sass, I think it implies like some type of quirk in attitude, some type of misdemeanor of behavior, rudeness, abruptness, shouting at random times in exclamation. If that's what sass is, I don't like it at all. Most women have this wonderful attribute. Oh, wonderful. And it, what? And it will eventually turn them into the greatest mama bear. Oh, Lord. Not the mama bear. The baby mama bear. That's what they should call it. Maybe I should call them that, the baby mama bear. No, still a baby mama. Women know how to be gentle, no, and kind, absolutely not. But they will also put you in your place if needed. These people are cowards, and what they'll do is probably instigate you in some type of encounter with somebody else. But she's absolutely not gonna address you directly unless like you are an established weakling. So if you are like her younger sibling or a husband who's been previously betrayed, a cuckold by the definition of the word, and she can establish a line of disrespect for you, that's what you're going to get. But otherwise, they don't generally go and assault strange men because they don't know how that man is going to respond. Indeed, if he responds with violence, no matter what the altercation, if it's violent, she's not coming out on top of that. Absolutely not. It doesn't matter how big she is. If there's a man involved, it's always an unfortunate situation, which is why you should never become violent, because if you do, you are going to be held responsible for the violence because you're the one that's capable of the violence. In fact, not to say that they won't do hurt, but it is absolutely known that a man can do more harm indeed to other people and themselves than what a counterpart can. But this doesn't imply that they're not dangerous. These people are terrible. They're dangerous to their own children, to their own families, to their fathers, to their mothers, and most of all, to themselves. Tamsin says that women bring beauty. While women are so much more than their beauty, it is a great attribute that cannot be denied. If you are a beautiful woman, that's a great attribute that cannot be denied. But if you're fat, forget about it. You can't be classified as beauty or beautiful. And not every woman qualifies for this, unfortunately. But if you are, good for you. All women are beautiful in their unique ways. That's not true. You can't be beautiful in a unique way. You can only be beautiful, including that special woman in your life. Most guys aren't really dating women that are that hot, which is something that we really need to address. Because, I know she thinks she's gorgeous, and you tell her that she's gorgeous, and you probably believe it yourself. But in truth, there's a reason why your woman isn't on the runway, right? And there's a reason why your woman isn't on the cover of magazines and, online with, 1 million subscribers. She's just not that hot, you know. And if she was, she'd be on billboards, man. You love the way she looks when she wakes up in the morning, she continues, goes to work, gets fixed up for a hot date. She still takes your breath away every time. You're not going to see any of that. You're going to see her get dressed up in the morning and go to work and look good for other men and other people and get compliments all day long. Then when she comes home, she's going to put on those 5-day pajamas. And then she's going to want you to continue complimenting her, completely forgetting the smell and the sensation that those pajamas give you, right? So, yes, she'll get dressed up for work and she'll definitely get dressed up for hot dates, just not with you because you're too busy paying those bills, right? She may take your breath away, it might be the smell of those pajamas, or she may genuinely be beautiful. In which case, why is she going on a hot date, right? Get a vasectomy. Get a vasectomy, especially if you're dating a beautiful woman, right? She needs to know that if she's going out on a date, she's risking pregnancy and other things with other men. But if she stays with you or goes out with you, she could have a decent enough time. I'm not going to say I'm the best. I'm not going to say I'm the worst. But I'll give you a decent enough time with no risk of pregnancy. And this is the only offer that I can make, right? This is the only real offer that I can make is that, I'll give it my best shot and I won't get you pregnant under any circumstances. Now, if you think there's a single athlete in the world that can beat that offer, if you think there's a single billionaire in the world that can beat that offer, you think there's a single man who drives a Porsche, a Lamborghini, or a Ferrari, or a Bugatti who can beat the offer that they will not leave you pregnant ever, or leave you with a baby, or make you a single mom begging for crumbs in the child support court, if you think you can beat that offer, if you think $1 billion can beat a vasectomite, I implore you to do your best, and I wish you the best of luck with that $1 billion, and we'll see how much of that stays over when you get twins. Remember, 1 + 1 = 5. Number 6, she laughs at your jokes. See, now there we are with the jokes. Number 6 is humor. There you go with the jokes. I can't with these jokes. I really can't with these jokes. Now you're making jokes. Again with the jokes. Every time I read these articles, there's always something about jokes, and I'm sick and tired of jokes. I hate making jokes. I'm really not a funny person, and I hate trying to be funny. I gotta sit there and think up of a knock knock joke or try figure out why that stupid chicken crossed the road. Do you know how little I care about that stupid chicken? Let me just read the article. I hate that chicken. I hate everything about that chicken. Just kill it and let's eat it. That's it. That's all the chicken is good for. Who cares why it crossed the road? Who cares? Who really cares why that chicken crossed the road? Number 6 is humor. She laughs at my jokes. She makes funny quirks with your friends. See, now she's flirting with your friends, right? All that joking around because I'm not cracking any jokes. Now she's going to be cracking jokes with other people. She knows the lines to your favorite comedies. Comedies. What's with the jokes? What is with the jokes, people? Women have a knack for humor. No, they don't. They're not funny at all, which is something she definitely brings to the table. You see, there's that table again. Sometimes, without trying, she can make you laugh. And you love the inside jokes both of you share. I'm just going to move on to number 7. I'm not addressing this issue of jokes anymore, but I'm sure it'll come up again. Number 7, class or class. Depends where you're from. Women can be funny, sassy, and kind of crazy. The only thing that's true in this statement is the crazy, right? But most of all, they are classy. You know what? This issue of class and standards is really about outfits. If she's dressed a certain way, you'll perceive her a certain way. If she puts on a different outfit, it's a classy outfit. So, it's really a question of which ones does she have more in her closet? Does she have this type of classy outfit or a lower type of classy outfit? But I assure you, she definitely has both. There is a reason you brought her home to meet your parents because she knows there is a time and place for certain types of behaviors. She's just pretending. She's just pretending, trying to get you to bend that knee, trying to get you to buy that infinity stone, right? So she can take your soul, man, right? So she can act. She's a class act. See, there you go. She can act. And at times, her elegance astounds you. So the performance that she puts on is going to shock you. And you'll be like, who in the hell is this woman? This is just another extent of her deception. This is why you have to be the master of the deceptive arts. This is why you have to be the master of the deceptive arts. Just lie to her. Lie to your parents, lie to her parents, lie to the priest, lie to the pastor. Try not to lie to the judge, not a good idea. So when it comes to judges, rather say nothing, right? Instead of having to incriminate yourself. It's called perjury, by the way. There's a real law against it. You're not allowed to lie to judges. That's the only person I recommend you don't lie to. But everyone else, go ahead, man. Go ahead, lie to them all, just not the judge. Another thing that a woman does not bring to a relationship is fun. Now, if you're married and you're paying those bills, and if you're divorced and you're paying that alimony, if you are an infamous baby daddy bear, then you are paying that child support too. That doesn't sound like fun to me. That doesn't sound like fun to me at all. Tamsin says, if there is anyone who knows how to let out her inner child, at times it is a woman. So she's childish, right? She's going to be petulant and princess treatment and all kinds of nonsense that you have to deal with. But good for you, because you know what? You can always tell her a joke. Let's continue. When it's time to let off some steam, she is 100% there. They always want to let off steam, these people. They always want to go on vacation. They always want to relax. They always want a day off. There's never a single woman in the world who ever complained about not having a day off. She can make even mundane things fun. This is not true. She makes fun things mundane, such as grocery shopping, doing or going to the DMV, etc. You know what? They were just one step away from adding sharing house chores, right? Because they love to share their house chores, but will never share yours, right? Absolutely not. You had way more fun with your friends, playing PlayStation. You had way more fun with your friends in college, staying up all night. You had way more fun with your friends playing sports. You had way more fun with your friends doing a myriad of things other than going to brunch, because that's exactly where you're going, or going to her nephew's trial to meet with the lawyer with the nephew, or her niece's baby shower, because her niece is always going to be pregnant, you know. Number 9, adventure. Women love adventure. Oh, these people are so boring. Women are so boring. They don't really like adventure, right? They do the same thing over and over. And I'll tell you what those things are. They'll go to the club. They will go to a restaurant, and then they'll go to a club, and then go to a restaurant, and that's it. That's their lives. It's home, work, club, restaurant, or restaurant, club. I don't know which comes first. I could care less, right? But this is it. And if you don't believe me, just go into any woman's social media page, right? Go onto any woman's social media place. Where is she? Where is she? In a restaurant. In a restaurant. Or at the beach, right? So it's the beach or it's the restaurant at the beach, right? Because they're at the beach, they could be partially naked and expose themselves without having any complications. But if they did that anywhere else, that would be problematic, right? But as for adventures, that's absolutely what you're not getting from a woman. She's not bringing that to the table. And if there is an adventure to be had, guess who's paying for it? Take one wild guess who's paying for that entire adventure. Tamsin continues. Not that it is not that this necessarily means every woman out there wants to travel. Yes, they do. To distant and foreign places. Yes, they do. But your brave woman will be will be up, sorry, I beg your pardon, will be up for any adventure, big or small. That's not true. They start small and they just get bigger and bigger. And you can't do the same thing over and over with these people. So, and I'm going to tell you something ironic here. So if there's something that you like doing, right? So let's say you like doing paintball, and you go there maybe every 2 weeks or something, right? On a regular basis, you got your kit, you got everything, you already built your teams, and you have your time set up, and you go there over and over. There will come a point where she criticizes you, because you're trying to improve, and it's great. It burns calories and all that, right? It's a great exercise, great bonding experience, right? And you get to shoot your friends. What could be better than that? She'll criticize that. And then when you break up with her, she will go do that activity with another guy. So she'll say, oh, you know what we could do? That's really cool. Let's do paintball. So one thing that I want you to remember, everything about her that you like, another guy taught her. So if she's good at video games, some guy taught her that. If she knows about paintball, some guy taught her that. If she's good at traveling and planning vacations, someone told her that, right? Some guy. If she knows good restaurants all over town, some guy taught her that, right? Because she didn't go pay for those restaurants. She didn't go pay for those vacations. She didn't go pay for those experiences. She's not going to go buy a paintball kit and go shoot her friends. She wants to go eat in the restaurants. That's all they do. That's all they do. They want to go sit in restaurants and eat. Look at their pages. They'll have one or two pictures at the beach, maybe, but most of them will be by the pool near the restaurant. That's it. That's their entire lives. That's the adventure. Does that sound like an adventure? How many times can you eat brunch? Right? The amount of times that you can do paintball, that's the amount of times that she can eat brunch. So you better get ready for a brunch adventure or a tea time adventure, my friend. Number 10, which is the last thing that you are not getting from a woman. She will not bring this to the table. Absolutely not. Responsibility. Personally, I hate responsibility. I don't want to be responsible for nothing. You hear me? Not a single thing, not a single person. At work, that's completely different. Work is work. It is what it is. Everybody's got to do it. Everybody's got to do it. I'm responsible for a myriad of things. But in this romance war, I take absolutely no responsibility and accountability for not a single thing that happens, especially since I can't have any kids. Especially since I'm not having any kids. I'm absolutely not taking responsibility for a kid or the kid's mother or the kid's friend. Oh, Lord, no. Absolutely not. I am anti-responsibility. Listen to me. If there's one thing that you want to avoid in this world, it is a living, breathing, eating responsibility. Stay away from those responsibilities. Anybody that tells you to deal with a responsibility, don't ever speak to that person again. Don't ever, you are now a student of the deceptive arts. Responsibility is a big no. Absolutely not. You hear me? No way, no way. You are not responsible for these people or what they do. Not your mother, not your father, not your brother, not your sister, not your cousin, not your grandparents. You are responsible for nothing and no one other than yourself. I say other than yourself. Otherwise, responsibility is a big no. I hate responsibility with everything in my mind. I might just make an entire video discussing how much I hate responsibility. This is why I got the vasectomy. This is why I got the vasectomy. I don't want to be responsible. Absolutely not. It is not the thing to do. We do not do responsibility. You take that responsibility. You want to be responsible? You want to be the bigger brother, the bigger man trying to raise your little brothers to be men? Take that out of your mind. You stop that right now. You stop that nonsense right now. You want to take on a responsibility for another man's child? No. No. I say the nay. I say the nay to responsibility. Let's read this nonsense. Responsibility. Tamsin says, it is so nice, especially when it comes to adulting. Ha! Adulting. Does that sound nice? Does that sound nice? To have someone to rely on for the serious and heavy things in life. Oh no, not for us. Not the serious and heavy things in life. Oh, we're not doing that. Oh, we're not doing none of that. That doesn't sound like the bachelor life. Women are responsible. Let them be. Let them be. She will help you remember when to pay those bills. I'll do that myself. And how to do those taxes. I already got that covered. What I don't need is you being part of those taxes and those bills. No responsibility. She will encourage you to go after the career you want. I already got that. And to stick with it. No problem there. I just don't need you here breathing my air. Absolutely not. She will work hard besides you to save up for the things that you want and need. I don't need that. I already got my savings. I'm a bachelor. I'm a vasectomite. I'm saving 90% of what is possible to be saved. This is over and above rent, car, and such. But anything that can be saved, 90% of it is saved. 90% of it is saved. Right? So I got that covered. What I don't need is a responsibility. Absolutely not. And when the time comes to start a family, she says she will. Oh no, I'm not just jumping over that. When the time comes to start a family, that's not responsible. That's not responsible. There should never come a time to start a family. We're not doing this. We're not doing this. Let's hear what happens when it comes time to start a family. She will amaze you. Oh, Lord. No, she won't. No, she won't. She's going to destroy you. With her mothering and multitasking skills. There's no such thing called multitasking. It's called attention deficit and hyperactivity disorder. ADHD. Attention deficit means you cannot pay attention. You pay attention. Right. I was saying, you pay attention, right? So when you have a deficit, so attention deficit, it means you are short, right? So you are short of attention. And then hyperactivity. Hyperactivity means you're all over the place. So not only are you not focused, you are all over the place. And that is a disorder. Attention deficit and hyperactivity disorder. That's what multitasking is during motherhood, right? When instead what you need to be doing is focusing on one task at a time and clearing them out, right? One by one. She concludes by saying, we all know that we need women. Oh, man, she's just hitting the hypocrisy here. She will always bring something special to any relationship, especially yours. Tamsin, you really brought this article home. I mean, she didn't hold back with anything. She laid it on thick from that first line. Let me read that first line again. This really captured the whole mood of it right from the beginning. Right, you have a special lady in your life, Tamsin Valentine. Take a bow. She is the best, and you feel so lucky to have her. Listen to those words. Listen to those words. Tamsin is a true believer. Her faith, like mine, cannot be broken, right? And mine, of course, is the bachelor life. That was a very wonderful article. 10 surprising things that women do not bring to a relationship. You're not getting any of these, right? So you can dream and hope all you want. I absolutely guarantee you're not getting any of these. What you can get is you can get yourself a vasectomy. You can go ahead and freeze your sperm. I was doing the numbers in my head. If you're paying it cash, if you freeze your sperm, it's probably something like $50 a year or less, 45 maybe. That's nothing. You've got that in your back pocket. And if you want to pay outright for the vasectomy and the urologist and appointments and the room and stuff, it's all going to cost you around 1,550 US dollars. So that's about 1,600 US dollars in total. Right, I'm happy to stick with that number, $1,600, $1,600 to freeze your sperm and get a vasectomy. I like that number, 1,600. It'll be much easier to remember than 1,550. That's for sure. So 1,600, freeze your sperm, get a vasectomy. Do it. Do it. Don't think about it. Don't go into these relationships without that vasectomy. You're going to ruin your life. You are absolutely going to ruin your life. Having kids is a catastrophe. It is the catastrophe that nobody talks about. It is the number one cause of poverty, right? The cause of poverty is not war or famine or drought. It's having too many children. You're not going to have a lot of kids and be rich, right? Get a vasectomy. Even one kid is too much, if I'm being honest with you, right? And avoid that responsibility, man. That responsibility is going to ruin you, Trying to be responsible for people in this life, don't do it. Don't do it. Just forget the old philosophy. Follow the new philosophy. Read the words from the Grand Master Sun Tzu himself, my mentor, the only philosopher that I would ever listen to. Study his words, follow them intently, live by them. And you too can rise from merely a student or an apprentice of the deceptive arts to even being a master and maybe even a grandmaster, a historical figure known for the mastery of your deceptions. And don't forget to lie to them. Lie to everyone about everything all the time. At work, don't lie. Don't give falsehoods. Lie by omission. Retain your solitude. Protect your seed. Freeze your sperm. Get a vasectomy. 1,600. This is the number we're working with. And you have that money. And if you don't, your medical insurance can. And if you can't get medical insurance, inquire about it in your company and they'll organize it for you, if it's even possible. If not, you can save up for it in no time at all. Stop going to restaurants. Stop going to nightclubs. Stop eating takeaways, right? If you don't know how to cook, just put it in the oven for 25 minutes and see what happens. Turn the oven up to maximum, put the food in the oven for 25 minutes, wait and see what happens. Nothing else happens, put it in there for 10 more minutes and see what happens. And eat. But save as much money as you can. And then get that vasectomy. It'll be the best investment that you've ever made. And if you're worried about your wife catching you, get a credit card. Use a credit card to buy her those tickets and book that hotel. Give her the credit card, let her go to Jamaica and max it out. And then go get yourself a vasectomy and protect yourself. Trust no one. Don't even trust yourself. Get a vasectomy. You're not even smarter than your own biology. Get a vasectomy. This is the philosophy and this is the standard. If you want to live the bachelor life in full successfully, with no doubts, the only sure thing that you can do to secure your bachelorhood, your freedom, your independence, is to get a vasectomy. This is the ancient one, the Bachelor Supreme, the Phantom Menace, he who remains, and the master of the deceptive arts. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your attention. I appreciate it, and I always will. Have a nice day.